Hi, I'm Shukrani Gray, the African American Resource Collection, Equity and Inclusion Librarian of the New Orleans Public Library. And I'm your host for What Do I Read for Black History Month? This is our Reader's Advisory for the month, and this is our last one. So we're going to kick it big for this episode. I got 3 extra books at the end just for adolescents. I felt like I kind of skimped out on the teen books, so I wanted to give you some so that you could have them. This program was made possible by the suggestions from a lot of our staff. And so I want to thank our library associates, our librarians, and our library managers who made this program possible. Now, that being said, let's start with our first book. Our first book was suggested to us, first 2 books was suggested by Maria Landrum, our interim manager of, I want to get it right. Interim manager of programs, outreach, and partnerships. She's over the POP department. POP, I love that name. Anyway, so the first book she suggested is called Black Like Me, and it is by John Howard Griffin. Now, look, let me tell you, I'm featuring books that I've wanted to read, that I have read, or that somebody said is a good book. And now this book went from somebody said this is a good book to a book that I gotta read. It is a nonfiction book. But when I read the description, I was like, nah, I thought this was fiction. I had to go back and check. So look, there was this guy, he was a white guy, and it was in the 1950s. And so everybody was talking about race relations, and Black people were saying, hey, you know, there's lynchings going on. It's really awful in the South, blah, blah, blah. And people were saying they were being paranoid. So this guy was like, I'm a see for myself. So he took a pill. I didn't even know that was a thing. He took a pill that turned his white skin black. Now, when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, but it probably wasn't really black. Look, I went and found an article that talked about what he looked like, and here it is. Hold on. Okay, there we are. Look at the picture. He looks like a black guy. I didn't know who was who. So he's the guy on the left. His name is John Howard Griffin, and this book is based on his diary entries. So this is an article, by the way, by the Smithsonian Magazine. I want to give them their credit because this is their picture. And they talked about that book, Black Like Me, 50 years later. I wanted to get a date, but there is no date for this. Oh, yes, it is, October 2011. And this article is written by Bruce Watson. Got to give him his credit. So this is him going through the South. Mr. Griffin went through the South, and he even has parts where he was here in Louisiana. I believe that this picture right here was taken in New Orleans. It says, I thought it was interesting. It said, yeah, I've been shining some shoes for a white man. And the white guy was like, a fellow named Griffin. And he was like, yeah, you know him? He was like, yeah, I am him. What? That would have freaked me out. I'm just saying that would have freaked me out. So anyway, so when I read this and the description of the book, I was like, I gotta get this. So let's get you some details on this book so that you too can read the book. So Black Like Me, guess what? It is also a DVD. So you can watch the movie. They made a movie about it. What? And I don't know if that's, I got to get into the movie. So the movie, the call number is BLAC, and it is available. Let me see which branches has it. The main branch has the DVD, and Algiers has the DVD. But if you are like me and you want to read the book, Black Like Me is at the Smith branch, and it is checked in right now. The call number is 301.451G85B 1996. Go on and get that book. And then the second book that Maria suggested was Black No More by George Schuyler, and his name is Schuyler. Now, I think this might be the only fiction book that I have recommended for Black History Month. But, you know, I'm saying I want us to look at things from an innovative view and look at Black history from different lenses. And this is perfect. So, you know, a couple of the books that we've talked about have addressed Black people who passed as white people because they were so very light skinned. And wait, back up. So the reason I like Black Like Me, the book we just talked about, is because it's the other way around. It's a white person who passed as a Black person in real life. Who knew? Anyway, so back to this second book, which is Black No More. It is a fiction, and it is a satire. Let me get my notes. It is a satire of the 1931 Harlem Renaissance. So already you get a historical perspective of the Harlem Renaissance. What? And so the premise of the story is that a scientist came up with a way for Black people to take this pill and become white. And then they started like filtering into the society. And so there's this commentary about the economics in the South and in turn the United States that is heavily dependent on race relations, on racism, and on discrimination. And so he takes a shot at the Ku Klux Klan. He targets both the Ku Klux Klan and the NAACP. And he talks about how we as a country are obsessed with race. So this book, let me get you details on that book. I am doing what I suggest you all do. I'm using our New Orleans Public Library website to look up the books and get the call number. So I am looking up Black No More, and then I'm going to put a novel. That's going to make it easier for the book to come up. Because if you put Black No More, sometimes they don't know what you're looking for. Oh no, I think I lied to you. I'm going to put Black No More Schuyler. There you go. So that brings it up right away. So now you just learned something new from me. When you go to the catalog on our website, you're going to search the book and put the last name right after the book. And that's going to help the book come up. Black No More, Schuyler. You got that from me. So I'm going to steer you right. So Black No More, a novel. This is also available as an ebook on Overdrive. And that's the app that you can put on your phone and read the book on your phone. Now, it's not an audiobook, it's an ebook. Now, if you want to get this book from the actual book, you're going to go, it's at the New Orleans East branch, or you can have it sent to your branch. That's also possible. And the call number for this, because it is fiction, is the actual author's last name. So Schuyler, Schuyler, is the call number for Black No More. Black No More. All right, and so the third book is Lest We Forget. This is another nonfiction. It was suggested to me by, and this came from the main branch, you know, that's my branch. And Lori Bartney Carr suggested the book. And the book is on the Black History display, right? Which was created by Lori Bartney Carr and Mike Marina. So yay, kudos to them. You'll see a picture of that display later on when I get through. So lest we forget, The Passage from Africa into the 21st Century was written by Velma Maia Thomas. And I am proud and happy to suggest this book because it starts pre-slavery. That in and of itself is so important because we need to emphasize that our history starts before we came to the United States, right? And so to have a history book that has that as part of their premise, that talks about our lives pre-slavery, and then comes into how we got to the United States and the slave trade and all of that, and then goes all the way up to like Black Lives Matter. I think that's an important book to have. It's a good book. It's a book for adults, but it's a good book for you who are trying to bring Black history to children. it has pictures, and like I said, it has this really extensive array of historical facts. So let me get you that information. It is Lest We Forget, the Passage from Africa into the 21st Century. The call number is 973.0496 T462L. It is on the display at the Black History, for the Black History display at the main branch, but it's also at Norman Maier. And both books are checked in. What? This is great. All right, so those are our adult books. Now we're going to get into our teen books. So the first one is Strange Fruit, More Uncelebrated Narratives from Black History. And the author is Joel Christian Gill. Now, this book. Now, I think it's important to, I used to be a teacher. I don't know if y'all know that. I used to be a math teacher. So education and getting our history to our young people is so very important to me. And this book, Strange Fruit, gives us these narratives, these kind of like unknown, not really talked about narratives. But there's one in particular that is in this book that is personal to me. So when I was coming up, I was a little girl, maybe like 8, maybe like 6. My mother used to read these books to me about slavery, about George Washington Carver and all of this. And she told me the story about the slave who tricked himself into freedom. He put himself in a box and he put a stamp on that box so that he would be mailed to the North. And he scrunched up in the box and sat in there all the days that it took to be delivered from the South to the North. And I was amazed. And that story is in this book. What? His name is, what is his name? Oh no, his name is, there it is. Henry Box Brown. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So let me get you the details. Strange Fruit. Strange Fruit. There we go. Strange Fruit, Uncelebrated Narratives from Black History. That book is, even more exciting. It is a graphic novel. Now, if you're dealing with teens, you know that graphic novels are all the rage. Everybody loves a graphic novel. It's a book of pictures. But this one is a book of pictures and substance. And so it is at Main Library, it's at Algiers, it's at Alvar, it's at New Orleans East, Nor Navra, Norman Maier, and Keller. And the call number is GRPHYA 973.0496 G475S. Now, you know it's a graphic novel anytime you see the GRPH in the front, and you know it's for teens anytime you see YA. So we started this out with a graphic novel. Then we're going to roll on over to Freedom by Force. Let me hold on, give me 1 second. Freedom by Force. The History of Slave Rebellions. Now, I don't know if it's for obvious reasons, but I chose this book because our history, especially for young people, we are constantly taught about slavery. We're taught about, how they were abducted from their countries and brought here to the United States and made to work. And some people even describe the slaves as content, and that they were, they blended into society seamlessly and accepted that that was their lot in life. But that is not the real story. And there are many times that Africans who were enslaved here in the United States tried to rebel. And so this book highlights that. And I think that's an important story because it talks about Black people and their agency within this country. So that's why I included this book here. Freedom by Force, The History of Slave Rebellions was written by Therese. I'm going to spell her last name because I don't want to mess it up. It is Harasymiw. This book is available at Algiers, and it is young adult nonfiction. So that's YA N73, I'm sorry, 973.712H254F. Right now it is checked out, but it will be back in March. And then last but not least, we have Black Women Leaders of the Civil Rights Movement, written by Zeta Allen. Now you got to have a good old, anthology of Black history in your list. I mean, you can't go wrong with a book that covers all of the women. Now, what I like about this is that it's not just the well-known women like um, uh, Ida B. Wells or Sojourner Truth. There are some lesser known women who were very instrumental in the civil rights movement. So let me get you that detail. So Black women, let me see, Black women leaders of the civil rights movement. There we go. Black women leaders of the civil rights movement. And again, I am using the catalog on our webpage, just like you can. This book was published in 1996. It is 128 pages. It is illustrated. They use primary sources. They use interviews. They use pictures. So I love this as a resource and a reference book for teens. It is YA 323.3408996 A432B. And that is available at the main library in the young adult fiction, nonfiction section. Now, before I wrap it up for this month, I want to talk to you a couple of things. There is, I told you, the Black History display at Maine, but there is also Dana Dickerson, library associate, wanted us to know about the adult book display on the second floor of New Orleans East. It is African American banned books. It is displayed until mid-March, so you can see it even after Black History Month is over. And she had a quote. I gotta get it for you. She had a quote that she wanted me to share with you. So let me get it. Give me a second. Let's see. I'm pulling it up. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right. Okay. So she said, hey, we gotta find it. There she is. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's such a good quote. I want to include it. All right. Hold on. I'm coming. I'm coming. I know you guys are like, what is she doing? Why is it taking so long? There it is. It is especially important when considering books written by people of colors whose stories, experiences, and histories have been either whitewashed, appropriated, censored, or outright suppressed. This is a small list of banned books written by African Americans. We believe these books should be read for your own enjoyment, edification, or just to tick off a few people. This is from Mahogany Books 2018, and it was given to me by Dana Dickerson, who is a library associate here at the New Orleans Public Library. Yay! I did include it. Thank you all for your patience while I found that quote. Also, Katie Velma, assistant manager at Nora Navra, wanted me to mention that Nora Navra has a year-round Black History Month display, which features Black Lives Matters or Black History, and it was curated by Therese Butler, Youth Services Librarian. Now, don't forget that those are there. Please visit them if you can. And let the people know that you enjoyed this and that you appreciate that they're doing such good work at the New Orleans Public Library. Now, okay, so I'm going to end this out with some pictures so that you can see what these books look like. And I also have one final picture of the Black History display at Maine. So let me pull it up right quick. All right, here we go. Here we go. So I went to share screen. There we go. Okay, so this is Black Like Me. He was now this picture doesn't do him justice, but maybe it does. Maybe that's what it looked like. I don't know. But this is the Black Like Me where the white guy switched to the black guy. And then we have Black No More. This was the satire on the Harlem Renaissance where Black people were able to take a pill and become white. Then we have Lest We Forget, the passage from Africa into the 21st century, the history book that starts pre-slavery and takes us all the way up to the present. We have Strange Fruit, Uncelebrated Narratives from Black History. This is our graphic novel for teens. Then we have Freedom by Force, the history of slave rebellions. That says it all. And finally, we have Black women leaders of the civil rights movement. And this is a reference book that teens should have. Okay, and finally, these are pictures of the Black History display at the main branch. Isn't it beautiful? And that's the AARC fabric. We love it. And there's a close-up. So as I end this, oh, there we go. As I end this, I want to thank you all for sharing this month with me. If you have any questions about any of these books or any more books that you would like to read for Black History Month and beyond, please feel free to contact me, Shukrani Gray, at the New Orleans Public Library. The African American Resource Collection is here for you. That concludes our show. I would like to also point out that our programming here at the New Orleans Public Library is made possible by the Friends of the New Orleans Public Library. So if you like this kind of programming, if you want to support the African American Resource Collection or the library itself, please, please, please consider giving a donation to the Friends of New Orleans Public Library. It helps us to bring our programmings to you. So thank you and have a great rest of the month.